What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, tonight, you guys, I'm going to have a special guest on. Her name is Katherine, and she also has a channel all about her recovery and her journey with medically assisted treatment. Her channel is called Karima After Addiction. And of course, you guys know I'll link it whenever this video goes up. I'll link it in the comments and I'll try to link it in the description if I remember, but it will most definitely be down in the comment section. Hey, Ian. Hey, Daniel. Hey, guys. So, as you guys can probably notice, like I've really been trying to, hey, Jerry, what's up? Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you guys are all here. I'm trying to space my live streams out a little bit, so I hope that's kind of like helping you guys who are maybe trying to catch up on all the videos that I make. I'm really trying to kind of like pull back and space things out so that way, like, okay, so tonight Catherine's going to come on and I really want to give her time to shine, and I feel like I need to do that with the other people that have come on my channel, and I didn't do that. I didn't give their videos time to really do well because I'm always recording right after the other. And so I'm really going to start to try and strategize the way I upload these videos. That way each person who comes and shares their story will be able to, have their moment. But hey, Leroy. But for those of you guys who are like, what interviews? I have a playlist that I have every interview I do with a guest, I'm putting those interviews in a playlist. So all you have to do is go to the playlist section of my videos of my channel and it'll say playlist interviews. And you click that list, hey Tony, and it'll bring up all the videos I've done with someone else. Okay, so you can find all the interviews I've done there. I've done interviews with Daniel, Splinter, Jexy, Big Lance off the yard, a bunch of interviews. Sorry, I'm going blank at the time. Avalon's been on my channel. Kayla's been on the channel, like a couple of people. So you guys can find those interviews there. Also, I've been trying to like organize my playlists. So for those of you guys that are new to my channel, there is a straight playlist of all my addiction stories, like the stories from the time I started using till the time I got locked up to the time I had my son, and so on and so forth. And then Dr. B has his own playlist. So, hey Bella, hey Cindy. Yeah, Dr. B has his own playlist. So if you're looking to see like the videos that I did with Dr. B, it's his own playlist, just Dr. B. No, you didn't miss it. He hadn't came on yet. Hey Rhonda. Hey Jim. Yeah, I'm trying. you know. So, um, yeah, I'm just trying to like space them out a little bit. Hey, Missa. And I was even thinking about this, and you guys let me know how y'all feel about it. I do so many live streams that I feel like what happens if you're not here for the live stream when it's happening, it's like you're missing out, And so I'm thinking about just doing live streams on Friday nights and kind of slowing down. So that way everybody, hey Merk, that way everyone that wants to be at the live stream can plan for it and be there. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like I'm oversaturating my channel. Can y'all hear me? Do the little wrenches beside the names mean moderators? Yes, yes. Oh, thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate that. I Sometimes I don't feel like it, but I appreciate you for saying that. And you can earn wrench status in my chat by, okay, so here is the I guess you could say the rules of being a moderator, okay? Like I really want for what I look for in people that I'm going to mod. I look for people that are welcoming newcomers when they come in the chat. I look for people who are going like above and beyond to maybe link videos of people. Like tonight, Catherine's going to be on the channel. And so like Merc always goes straight to the person's channel. He gets the links and he links the person's channel. Because if somebody has a channel and they come here, I'm not a shady lady. Like if somebody comes to my channel and they have a channel, we will link their channel because we want to support other creators. We want to support you whether you're big, small, or in the middle. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. If you have a channel and we know it, we will help you out and link your channel in the chat. For the most part, you know, I just people that are going to be here, you know, because what happened was I was modding people in the past and then they weren't here anymore. They weren't coming to the live streams. And pretty much we don't have a bad problem with trolls, but when they do come in, I like to stomp them out real quick, you know, because, hey, Ben, this is a chat for people that are in recovery or struggling with active addiction. So we don't need people in here trolling folks. You know what I'm saying? And so if someone comes in and they're disrespectful, if they're cussing, if they're saying just nasty off the wall stuff, block them. Don't even give them a chance. Just block them, because I don't play games like that. Not especially not since this is a more serious channel. You know, we have people that their lives are at stake. The disease of addiction, it's deadly, and so when you have people coming in and commenting mean ass shit, knock them out of the way. Really, Jim? I know. Yeah, I know, Zabe. I've actually talked to her personally. In fact, thank you for reminding me because I need to text and check on her. Yeah, that's right. We stomped them trolls. Let me check on her real fast. Thanks for reminding me. I hadn't talked to her in forever. So, I'm really excited. I don't know Catherine's whole story. We've been getting to know each other. Hey, Lou. Hey, Cindy. Why did you delete your channel, Jim? Just because you've had a slip? You shouldn't have deleted it. Hey, Deidre. Yay. I'm so glad you guys are coming to support Katherine. I really, really like her a lot, and I want her to just have as much support as she can when she comes on here. Okay, Lou, I'll text you later, okay? I really appreciate you for coming in and saying hi. I really, really do. I also need to make an announcement really quickly. Oh, don't worry about it, man. We all make mistakes. Don't be embarrassed, okay? I do need to make an announcement. So it's come to my attention that there's quite a few, like, people, prison YouTubers that, because they see me in the comment section of somebody else's channel or vice versa, they think that, you know, I want you guys to know that just because I have a different opinion and maybe I don't agree with something doesn't mean that I do not like somebody. Like, I really like almost everyone. There's really nobody that I can't stand or hate. And so just because I'm over commenting on Big Sid's channel doesn't mean I don't like the people he talks about. I love all the people he talks about. I really enjoy all those channels. I like to think that we're all adults and that we can comment on different people's channels and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But I have noticed that a lot of people are really insecure and they think because you comment something that means you don't like them or something. Whew, get myself into so much drama. What? Studio name. Oh, you put your name of your channel. Yay! Ah! Okay.
Oh, your name of the
I'm
channel.
good,
okay.
girl.
Hi. Oh my God. So welcome to my studio. What do you think?
I love
set
it.
it all up. I wish you were here because I would be giving you a little cup of tea.
A
I got
cup of tea.
yeah.
Tell me, don't you? What is that one drink that you normally drink in all your videos?
Probably tea. I
Okay.
usually drink tea or coffee. Like it's usually different all the time. But I got like,
I don't
is
know
that light
why.
too bright?
No, I mean it's a little bright. Yeah.
Let me see if I can move it. Do you think that's better, or should I not have the light?
Let me see what it looks like without it. Either way is, but I mean, it just you look fine. I mean, I can see your face if that's what you mean. It's either way is fine. They both look about the same.
Okay. Okay.
Girl, you look so good.
You look good too. I was just thinking that. Awesome. Okay.
I feel your body looks so small, and then there's like my big ass Mrs. Potato Head.
Oh, should I come up more to the screen?
You look so small right now. It looks good. No, you're good. You look perfect. Okay. Welcome to the channel, girl. I cannot wait to hear your story. I was telling everybody what your channel was called, and what we'll do is I will link your channel in the comment section and in the description box. I want everyone to go over to your channel and subscribe. Her channel is called Karima After Addiction, and what I would like for you to do today is just share with us what it was like before your addiction, like when you were growing up, and then share with us what it was like when you got addicted, and then what your life is like now. And you can take as long as you need.
Thank you so much, Nicole. First of all, thank you so much for having me on today. And I just have to tell you that I've never shared my story. And I've always kind of been scared to, for a lot of different reasons, but I hope that everyone who's listening today, that I just thank you for listening, and thank you for watching and everything like that. And thank you, Nicole, for facilitating.
Don't be ashamed or embarrassed to share anything, because like I used to feel like I couldn't share things because I thought people would judge me for sharing it, you know? But everybody here, at least in this community, is amazing. Like there's like maybe one person that'll say something nasty. So for the most part, either you would think that nobody's been there, but whenever I share something that I think probably nobody's gone through, I get like 10 comments of other women saying, I've been through the same thing. I've done the same exact thing. You know, thank you for sharing. So don't even worry about it. Just tell us all about it.
I noticed. I love the recovery community. So let me start by my childhood. So I grew up in what I would call like an idyllic childhood. Like my parents took us on vacations. We went to Disney World twice when I was a kid. We used to go away. My parents were teachers. We spent like the entire summer up at my dad, where he was from, was Buffalo, upstate New York, like 12 hours from where I live. So we'd spend the summers there. We'd go on vacation, and my parents were absolutely amazing, and they were good. Like they were on top of, any issues that I had. They were just on top of everything. The one thing that I would say about them is they were very strict, and that kind of helped to shape my reaction to things and me and everything like that. But so I grew up in a very nice home in a nice area with my younger sister, and I would say that the one thing that characterized me as a child, there were of course good points, but I was very self-conscious and very like almost like a weak personality, and a lot of people, I guess you would say, like exploited that or whatever as I was growing up and as I got older especially. But so that was kind of when I was younger, but I didn't experiment with drugs really until I hit high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my first experience, let me just hold on, I'm just gonna take a sip of my tea because I'm getting nervous.
You're doing good. I want to tell you that my family was the same way. Like my parents were really, really strict. I was raised up in a real strict Pentecostal home. So when I was able to do things when I got to be a teenager, it was like balls to the wall rebellion.
I completely get you with that. Yeah, I think that that's what it was. It was, I was very, very strict. And then honestly, for me in college, that's when I went really balls to the wall because my parents weren't there to say anything at that point. Like it was
Yeah.
me on my own and me making my own decisions. And that's really where things hit the wall for me. So I developed an addiction to Ritalin,
Hmm.
to prescription Ritalin from some kids that were selling it on my college campus. And I got into an abusive relationship. And those were the two things that really catapulted me into adulthood. That was my introduction to adulthood, was this addiction that I had that was growing, and my like experience with men. And my of course my first very serious relationship was with this guy. He used to beat me, and just he was terrible. He was absolutely terrifying, strangled me, everything. He was horrible.
How long were
And
you with him?
I got out of the relationship eventually. I it was years later. It took me years to get out, but I did eventually get out. But, that wasn't the end of it. Of course, like I continued down that road with men just not treating me well my entire life until I met my husband, to be completely honest with you. There were a few stragglers in there that treated me well, but for the most part, I guess they saw the weakness in me, which is not actually weakness after all, right? It was just that I don't know, but they exploited that. So
Yeah. So do you think that, when I was growing up and I was a young girl, like I always felt this like insecurity. Like I always felt like all the other girls were like better than me somehow and I was not quite the same as they were. I always felt like I was behind everyone else, not in like knowledge or smarts, but in like the way I felt. Like I felt like, oh, these girls are so skinny and pretty and I'm like the little chunky brown girl, you know? I always felt like the odd man out.
oh my God, Nicole, I absolutely always felt like that. And I still feel like that to this day. Like, I still, like, with all the moms at school, like, I feel like the one that had the big drug habit. You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like that to this
Yeah.
day, and it's over different things. But that's why I also have the YouTube channel, is because I don't, I want to feel belonging with people who are like my situation. And I'm so glad that I met you, by the way. But yeah, so I always felt like that. I always felt like outcasted and like out, just that I wasn't a part of something
Yeah.
my whole life. And I always wanted to be a part of something and to join something. And that's why, like, with my experience with men who were nasty to me, it always felt like that they were filling this void in my life, or that they were like, all of a sudden they would become the other half that I always needed. And in going through rehab and realizing these things myself, I realized that that was codependence. That was never a real attachment.
Yeah.
And a lot of those were drug relationships too.
So, okay, so tell me, okay, when you were transitioning out of the relationship with the guy who was abusive to you, is that when you started using like heavy drugs? Like, share with us so you went from college, you were on the Ritalin, you were buying it from people at college. Now, how did that transition into the heroin?
So that it's actually a very sad story. So that didn't happen for years later. Um, I kind of, I stayed low key so after college, I got a good job working as a reporter for one of the local community weeklies. And that's kind of what I've done my entire professional life, is I've always written and been in journalism and everything like that. And what slowly began creeping up on me was, again, like the feeling of the insecurities. And the way that I would get rid of that was I would go to bars a lot. As
Uh-huh.
like a 20-year-old, 22-year-old, 24-year-old, I would go to bars. And there was like this one bar near me that I used to hang out in all the time. And like literally most of the friends that I made in those years of my life were by going to the bar and meeting people. So in my 20s, I worked hard. I worked like my butt off. I saved a lot of money. And by the time that I was 27 years old, like I said, I was very comfortable. I was comfortable with my life, and I was comfortable with I'm moving in closer.
You're
I'm feeling
okay.
more
That's good.
comfortable. So I was beginning to get comfortable with my life, and I was beginning to get comfortable with where I was and what I wanted to be. But I still had those insecurities, and I was still going out to bars and meeting people in bars, and that's how I would make my friends and everything like that. And then one night I went out to a bar and I saw this guy that I knew in and elementary school and middle school. Like I knew him like pretty much my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of like always like that badass. Wait, hold on. I got to do the air quotes. Oh, that badass guy. Like he was like, he was like really good looking, and like he just had like this macho air about him, um and he calmed me down and he made me feel accepted and everything like that. So I met him at the bar this one day, and he was really muscular and really good looking, and he told me that he had just gotten out of the military.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this whole insane story, but needless to say, he told me that he had gotten out of the military, and we began dating or whatever. One thing led to another, and I eventually found out that he had been in prison, and he had been in like a longer term program. I forget what it's called, shock or something like that. It was like 3 years in upstate New York. And he said that he didn't want to tell me because he didn't want me to judge him and everything like that. And I understood that. I was like, that's okay. I wish that you would have told me, but he didn't. And he started he like eventually like he moved into my house and he started acting weird, and needless to say, eventually I found out that he was on pills.
Uh-huh.
And one day I just he was out and I found some of them and I took one. Didn't I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think this, insane stuff would happen. And I was hooked from literally the first time that I tried it, the pill.
What was it like the first time you ever took an opiate pill? What was it like? What would you describe the feeling as?
I don't know. Like, I would say it was like love at first sight.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Like, right? Like,
yeah.
I felt like this warm, like, oh my God, like everything makes sense. Everything feels good. Everything, like, finally, like, I know where I'm supposed to be. Like, that's the way it felt, like, very, like, comforting.
You are so established, like, in your life, like being a reporter, having money saved, like, so I imagine that having your life set like that and being so successful probably added to the time while you were using where you thought, oh, well, it's not that bad. I have this house, I have this job, I have this. And so eventually, did it all fall apart? Did you lose everything? Did you lose your house, your job? Like, what happened?
Oh my God, I lost everything. And I'm leaving a lot of stuff out because, like I said, this is my first time and I'm nervous, and
You're
I
doing
appreciate
great.
you working with me. But
You're
yeah,
doing great.
so what happened was, we had gotten in this relationship, and all of the money that I had saved up, that was slowly dwindling away because he was, going to my ATM and taking money out. And then eventually, like, when I got hooked to the point that I got hooked, which was like terribly, like, I went and I spent the rest of the money that I had. Like, by the time that it was done, like, everything was gone. And it was a very slow regression, like with depression. Like, it was, I had everything that I wanted, but there was something missing. There was that void in me. I had everything that I wanted, and then slowly but surely everything got taken away to the point where I was homeless by the end of it. Like, I had nothing. The clothes on my back. I don't like, what? One of the things I always say that I love about other people who haven't, been through addiction or been through like something crazy in their life, like even like a hurricane or whatever, like that they have things from when they were like kids. Like, I don't have any of that. I miss that. I miss those things.
Right. Because, I mean, most of the things that I had when I was younger, if they had any value, I pawned them, I traded them, like anything I had value. Now, my mom would swoop in and like take jewelry and stuff that she could hide and save for me that like my dad got me when I was a little girl or my grandma sent. But for the most part, like everything I had is gone. Like I had to start over fresh anew, you know?
I know, and starting over is such a task. It really honestly is. I did a video today just about like that first year of sobriety and like what to expect as far as like, and in that first year I wasn't even worried about putting everything together because I knew that that would come along down the line. But the truth is like it takes so long to accumulate things again, to have things like behind me, like I have kitchen supplies. Like I never thought that I would have those things again, or I thought it would take me a million years to get them, but it does eventually come.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so you know, I the guy that I'm talking about, the guy that like that he was in prison, he lied to me about that, everything like that, like that kind of like introduced me to the world of drugs. He was a con man. He was absolutely, he was a con artist. He was a master manipulator. And I was literally wrapped around his finger, like for a very long time.
I was with a guy just like that for 7 years, and he was the ultimate bad boy, like dark hair, green eyes, like Italian, just sexy AF, but terrible, like the devil himself. He was Satan. And
Yeah.
he would beat me every day, and I would still stay with him. You know, like
I'm
I
so
was just a glutton for punishment, but it was because that's what I thought I deserved, you know?
I know exactly what you mean. And to put a cherry on, I had a child with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, who I don't think of my daughter as like his child. I think of her as mine, but he's involved and everything like that. Like he tries to like, take her on the weekends and everything, which is, I'm happy for my daughter that she has
Yeah.
that, to be honest. But yeah, like I
At
never
least she
got
gets
rid
to
of this
see her
guy.
dad. You know, a lot of other kids wouldn't. They wouldn't have their other parent in their life. So at least he's trying to be in her life, right?
That's
It's,
what I think. Like, I'm like, at least like he's there. And like, he was really bad. So obviously, like, he was fucked up. Like, he got to the point where he got an abscess in his arm,
uh-huh.
and it traveled all the way into his heart and like into his back.
Uh-huh.
And he was like gonna be paralyzed. Like, it was really, really bad. So the doctors told him, if you don't stop using, you're gonna die, you're gonna be paralyzed, all this stuff. And one of the nurses who helped him was this beautiful Russian woman, and they wound up getting married.
Oh wow.
So I'm very happy for him. In the end,
Yeah.
like he cleans up, he got a good life, and I'm happy that he's that father to my daughter. Like he's someone that's going to be able to provide her with things. It took a long time for it to get to that point, but I think I would call him like a good guy now. But
Yeah.
I mean, like that was all like in the grips of addiction. Like he was, I get it.
Right. He was not the person he is today because today he's sober and doing the right thing. Just like you're not that person anymore because you're sober and doing the right thing. You know.
Absolutely.
So tell me this. When did you shot heroin, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about when your addiction transitioned into using the needle because I
I
feel like
remember.
that's like a really I want to say monumental, but like a time we always remember is with the first time we ever shot, you know?
And I do remember that. Like, yeah, like 9/11. There's things that you remember. And unfortunately, one of the things that I do remember very vividly is the first time that I shot. And I remember I was in the car with my ex-boyfriend. This is again another guy that used to beat me. He was a Afghanistan war vet, and he would like have flashbacks and everything like that. Like, so he was like very angry all the time. I just remember. And we were in the car together, and I think he had just gotten us a couple bags or something like that, and I was going to snort it,
Mm-hmm.
because I was used to doing that. And he was like, no, he's like, I bought this. If I like, it's my money, you're gonna shoot it because it's a waste of money then. And I was like that, like I don't want, like, because I knew from my ex and from other people that like once you get like once it's shot, like that's it. Like you can never achieve the same high. Like it's all gonna go downhill from there. So
Yeah.
I was like hesitant to do it. And but you know, the addiction's creeping in and I'm knowing like I'm not going to get this unless I do that. So he set it up for me. He had another needle. He set it up for me and he shot me up the first time. And of course the first time, you know, you have someone else shoot you up for the most part, I think.
Yeah.
And then eventually you learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You become self-sufficient.
Oh God, you have to, because after the person that shoots you up, you're like, damn it, how do I do that again?
I
At least that was my experience, because my friend did it for me, and then I was like, I literally locked myself in the bathroom trying to learn how to do it on my own, because and they knew, the thing about it is like that guy knew that you were going to be hooked, and then he knew that you were going to be dependent on him, is what I think a lot of the times it is when we're in these relationships with people who are, shooting before us. They know that we're going to need them. And I've seen so many girls that are in relationships with guys who they can't hit themselves, so their guy always has to hit them. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
And it's just, I mean, I the shooting up took my life from me, and it made me obsessed with shooting up, and it was like a whole ritual around the needle. And so I know, for me, I feel like when I transitioned from just snorting and smoking to shooting up, it was like a whole new addiction, and it was so much stronger than just being on pills.
I didn't think that you had transitioned. So you did. You eventually got into shooting and
Oh
everything.
yeah, I mean, I was shooting, well, I was smoking meth and just like doing popping pills. And the first time I ever shot up was my friend. I begged her to do it for me because I was like watching them all coming out of the bathroom, and this was on methamphetamine. Um, I shot heroin probably like 20 or 30 times in my whole entire life, but that's because here in Arkansas, heroin wasn't here. It was all either the oxy pills or Dilaudids or morphine. The only heroin you could find here when I was getting high was in these little capsules that you would unscrew, and then it was like this tannish powder. I've never seen black tar heroin. I wouldn't even know what it looked like if I seen it.
Yeah, out west, I heard that it was. I did black tar once. It was sent from out west, but I thought out west was that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you and that's really difficult. Like the crushing up of the pill and the shooting of the pill. Like
girl, I hated it. And every time, because we would have the little blue Roxy's, so I would have to crush it up, put the water in, and then this is the craziest thing. When you pull it up, it's blue, like a light blue color in the, and
yes.
anyway, it was a lot of work for, you know, I mean, because I would have to do like 3 at a time to even feel anything, because I had gotten so dependent on those little 30 milligram pills.
I
And
bet.
then the worst part about it is the drug dealer is charging me $30 a pill.
Oh
$30
my god.
for one pill. So me and Neil, we needed at least two to be okay, two apiece. So that's $60 for him, $60 for me. That's $120. Like, we had no jobs. We were hustling. We were freaking pawning golf clubs to try and get money to get pills.
Wow.
It sucked, man. I am so glad that we're not in that life anymore, because I
And
never had anything except for I was either sick or high, sick or high.
yeah, I know. And it's nice that you guys stayed together, that you were able to get over that as well. Like that's
Yeah.
refreshing.
Tell me this. Tell me what happened. Okay, so you and this guy, you were doing heroin. How did you get away from him and then get to where you're at today?
So I got away from him one day. I had a car at that point in time, and I went to pick him up, and he was all high and he got all mad at me. So he wanted to get more drugs. So he decided. I let him drive my car. I got into the passenger side, and he. Let me give you my hand. Let me show you my hand. So he, like, as we were driving into New York City, because he was like, that's the only place that I'm going to be able to get drugs. He knew this guy in Brooklyn that had good bags or whatever. So he's like, I'm going to go over to his house. I'm like, it's 2:00 in the morning. Like, the guy's going to kill you for going there, like, in the middle of the night. Like, I'm like, you're going to get us killed. But anyway, drove as the passenger, and we're like on one of the turn things, and he's going really quick, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, stop driving like that, you're driving like a maniac. So he took my head, and he goes like, and he smashes my head into the console thing like 3 times, and I got like a huge bloody nose, and I was like, oh my God, like, and I think I lost consciousness too. I'm like, getting out of consciousness. I think it was like, just like the air and like everything like just started getting to me, and I was like feeling really, really sick, and I wound up like passing out in that seat. And then I woke up, I guess, at home. He didn't get anything, and I still had the blood on my nose, like it was dried up or whatever. And my dad came out, and I don't know how he didn't see the blood, but we talked to him for a little bit, and I saw that it was my dad, so I wanted to run to get inside to be with my parents, to try to get away from him, because I knew that like once I woke up he was going to do more stuff. And my dad said something, and then he let me go with the guy. Like, he was just like, bye. I just remember him waving goodbye, and I was like, oh my God, that was like my only chance to get out of the car, like, 'cause I'm still coming out of it and everything like that. But needless to say, like a couple days later, like, he kidnapped me essentially for like 3 days, like, where I just didn't feel that I could get out of it or whatever. And I eventually, got back to my parents' house, and I told them everything that was going on, and they let me back into the house. The guy wound up, when I told him that I was leaving, or I left for that last time, he winds up calling, and I'm not joking, and maybe you can relate to this, but he wound up calling. It was over a 6-day period, over 2,000 times. Like, it was a couple hundred calls every day. Every time that the phone would hang up, he would call again.
Yep.
And when someone would answer and be like, stop calling, he'd be like, I'm gonna call you 20 more times.
Yeah.
And it was just nonstop. And so, I mean, he still texts me to this day, and like tries to message me. I've changed my phone number. He's just so like intense. He's very intense.
I've been with guys like that. That's straight crazy, girl.
Yeah, I know. It is. It was the nightmare.
That's like restraining order crazy. That's like you need to have a gun in your house underneath your pillow crazy. Because those guys don't know they don't know no. And when somebody tells them no, it makes them want to go that much further to come into your life, because they're going to change your mind about them. They're going to make you love them. I've totally been there. And I've been with a guy who did the same thing, calling over and over and over again. And thank God, like, I swear my dad, I was so afraid, he would even say it like, I'm gonna catch a charge. I'm too old to go to prison, because me and my sisters were crazy, and there's 3 of us. And so, when we're in our active addiction, we attract people because we're wounded, we are broken, and so we attract other broken people. And so when you got 2 people that are broken together trying to coexist, it's like it's just drama and chaos. And so I know that your life is so much better now, huh?
Oh my God. And we were egging each other on, and like he moved into New York City, and he lived at it was like a veterans home, like shelter. And he eventually got onto a methadone program, but like, and this is my fault too, like, he was doing good and I hate to say this, and I'm going to say this because I feel very comfortable right now with you, but when he was on that methadone program and he was doing well, I messed him up then, because then I was like, I didn't have my get high partner. So I was, using half of his methadone, and then we would go out and we would get drugs together and everything like that. So it was very codependent, and it was a very screwed up relationship. And it's like the perfect example of a relationship to not have.
Yeah, we've all been there though. Like,
Yeah.
I've done the same thing, like, and that's good that you're taking responsibility for it, because that's part of, like, being in recovery, taking responsibility for the things that you did in your addiction. I did the same thing. My husband was on the methadone clinic, girl, and I was stealing all his methadones. All of them. I would take so I would take like 20 at a time, and then he'd go, because he had to, like, he had a prescription bottle of them, and then it was just so horrible. But I can totally relate. I did the same thing because we were not ourselves, you know. And I can promise you that if you were in that situation and he was coming around, he would have done that to you, you know.
I know. And he like did worse. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, and also, like, I find, like, on my channel, when I can, like, say stuff like the things that I did that I know I shouldn't have done, every time I say, like, I did this or I did that, people are like, I did the same thing, you know. It's like part of our healing process is to take responsibility for those things, and also we could share that with other people, so that way maybe somebody's in active addiction right now and they're listening to this story and they're like, oh shit, Catherine's telling my story. Oh shit, I'm taking my old man's methadone. You know what I mean? Like, that's when people hear, and that little nugget of information can maybe snap them out of it to where they make a change in their life.
I
You
hope
know?
so. I really hope so.
So tell me this, okay, so you're on Suboxone, right?
I am now, yes.
Okay, so how did you get on Suboxone? Like, were you, like, tell me how you got on Suboxone, and if you want to, just share a little bit about, like, what your experience is, and then we'll stop there, so that way we can really get into the Suboxone talk next time you
And
come on.
thank you so much. So you invited me. We'll do a Suboxone talk then.
Yes,
So that sounds
yes.
amazing. I'm like so excited because I really am so in favor of people to it lessens the withdrawal and everything like that, lessens the cravings, everything. So my addiction got far worse even than being in that car with that guy. It got terrible to the point where eventually I moved into a house, actually a really big old haunted house, with one of my best friends, and we were both doing really well, doing yoga every day, eating vegan, just living a really like my achievable lifestyle, like that I really wanted. Like I got a great job with the magazine, and we knew each other in addiction. So eventually we just, we knew that about each other, and we were both like lying to each other about having just done drugs. Like, and then eventually we started doing it together, and our house became essentially a trap house.
Yeah.
And literally, actually, it really was. And then to the point where the landlord was trying to kick us out, and he sent private investigators after me and after her, and they followed us one day and they found us with a bunch of stuff, and they used that to threaten to kick us out. And I was at the time at towards the absolute end. I was living with a guy who was he wasn't on parole, but he was like wanted for something, and the police they wanted him really bad. Like they were like really in favor of like getting him. And this kid got pulled over around our house, and he told the police that the guy was living there. And the guy, I guess, got a conscience about the fact that he just told the police that we were all living in that house. So he told us that the police were going to come in and raid the house.
Oh
that,
shit.
that they had a plan, that they knew that this guy was living there, and that they were going to come in and catch us all. So with that in mind, and then some other things, I was like, I gotta go. And I spent a couple nights in a tent on the beach, and then eventually I met my husband, and I have the life that I live now. And so when I met my husband, the first couple of weeks I was going through withdrawal, and it was very painful and everything like that. And then eventually, once the acute withdrawal had dissipated, and I knew that I was going to be able to take the drugs, Suboxone, because in acute withdrawal you can't take Suboxone because I forget what the word is, agonist.
It'll give you precipitated withdrawal.
It gives you precipitated withdrawal.
Yeah.
So, and which is even more painful than the withdrawals that you're in. So I knew that. So I had to get on Suboxone a couple of weeks into the withdrawal, and once I did, I haven't not been on it ever since, and it's been about 4 years.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've been on Suboxone for 4 years, and a lot of people, I think they feel like we took the easy way out, but if you really sit and think about it, I feel like Suboxone's like an extra step. I don't feel like it's the easy way. I don't feel like it's like I don't feel like we're avoiding relapse. I mean, avoiding withdrawal at all. Because eventually, when we taper down, if we choose to, we're going to have to go through that withdrawal eventually if we choose to taper off. So the whole reason why I started this channel is because I was telling my story and I was sharing about being on Suboxone, and then other addicts would look at me like I was crazy and basically be like, "You're not sober, or why are you even sharing your story? You're not in recovery." And I was just like, "This is crazy that other drug addicts are judging my recovery. Like other drug addicts are basically telling me, acting like they're my doctor and telling me what I need to be on and how long I need to be on it." And I was like, screw this, man. I'm making a channel and we're going to have our own community. And that's why I like try to find other people. When I found out you were on Suboxone, I was like, fuck yeah, man. Because we need to share the positive experience that we're having with this medication, because there's so many people that are sharing the negative. The people that are selling it, the people that are shooting it, the people that are sneaking it in the prison. And those, you know how they say that saying that, what does it say? They say a hurt dog barks the loudest.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
That's what those people are doing who are doing things the wrong way. And so we have to share our stories that are positive and uplifting, so that way, because there's so many people that are on Suboxone and that are on methadone that have no idea that there's support out there for them, that feel like they're totally alone, that feel like they can't go to an AA or an NA meeting because they'll be told that they can't share. And so it's always a blessing when I feel like when I find somebody else, I feel like we're allies. You know what I mean? Like we're fighting this war together.
Nicole, and I just have to tell you, before I found your channel, I also was of the thought that I have to keep this a secret that I'm on Suboxone, because people don't think that you're sober. They will say, "Oh, what's your clean date?" First of all, I don't keep my date. I don't keep that.
Mm.
That's awesome for people who do. I actually like the idea of celebrating an anniversary, but I don't keep my date. But people always told me, like, you're on Suboxone, that doesn't count. That's not, you're not clean. I'm like, what the hell is clean? If this is not clean, all that I've achieved in the 4 years of me being sober, then what is clean? How much more does a person want?
And that's the thing. It's actually, clean is all relative. Sober is I mean, really, if we want to get technical, sober is without alcohol. So hey,
Oh,
I'm sober. Are you sober? I'm sober.
I've always been sober.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's what started happening is you have people that are going into like 12-step programs, and they get this like arrogance about them, and then they want to tell other people. And do you know how many people are on medications for anxiety,
Yeah,
Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, and they need those medications to live, and no one would ever tell them that they're not clean.
you're absolutely right.
You know what I
And
mean? No. So it's
my
just the
mother's a
double
juvenile.
standard,
Yeah.
you
My
know?
mother's a juvenile diabetic, so my entire life she's been taking insulin, and she's been hooked up to an insulin pump. And I always think of about her and about people like that medication is part of their life and everything like that. And I think of Suboxone in the same way, in that it's just a part of who I am and what I need to do and what I need to take in order to survive in life, because without it, I can't even imagine. I am tapering,
Right, yeah.
and I have a successful taper, and I have videos from the taper on
Mhm.
my channel, and and uh, shameless plug, right?
You're
And
okay. I love it.
uh, but I don't. the idea of not being on it, like in those first few weeks and months and years of my sobriety, I can't go there. I can't.
It is scary because I've never been sober without Suboxone either. And when I have tried to be sober without it, I ended up relapsing. And so I always have that thought in the back of my mind that I might fail. And what if I fail? I have my son, I have my husband, I have all of you guys.
I
If
know.
I fail, imagine all the people that I'll let down, And so I
I
always
know.
think about that in the back of my mind. And I worry because addiction is a disease, and it's a chronic disease, and it can kill us. And that's the same way like with your mom who is a diabetic. If she doesn't have that insulin, she will die. And so if people more people would think of addiction as a chronic disease and this medication as helping us with that disease, treating the illness, then we wouldn't have so many people judging other people. um, Sorry, I don't get to mean to get emotional, but it's very important that we don't judge anybody for any part of their journey, because that judgment is what causes people to second guess themselves. Like, I can't tell you how many times that I thought, well, I need to get off Suboxone because some random stranger from the internet said I needed to be off Suboxone. And
I
that
know.
really affected me for a long time. So, anyway, I'm going to get all emotional. I try not to let those things affect me anymore. And the stronger I get in my sobriety and the more people that I meet that are just like us, that helps me to be stronger. But I want everyone to understand that judging other people or even saying something, you might not think it could hurt them, but it really does affect people. And I've learned that because I walked through my life in active addiction, not selfish, and I didn't think of anybody but myself. And so now I really think about what I say and what I do before I do it, because I know what I say and I do affects other people, and that's because I'm sober today.
I always say, first, you're gonna make me cry because I feel like I feel what you're saying, and I feel sad that you're feeling like that right now. But I always say, like, I was like a sociopath before I had my kids, even. And especially like during, like, in active addiction, because I couldn't feel what others felt. I didn't want to. I was in myself, and just what could people do for me? What could situations present for myself? And now, just the biggest motivation for me is just seeing somebody else smile and seeing somebody else happy, and making sure that other people are okay. Like,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah. And that's what we do to help. That's how we stay sober, is by helping other people.
yes.
So I'm so glad that you came on my channel. I can't wait for everybody to go subscribe to your channel. And I really do. Like, I want you to come on so we can just talk all about maintenance medication. And what we'll do is we'll have you on a Friday night when I do the Mara meetings. And
Okay.
so that way we can like take questions and we can answer people in the comments, and people can call in and we can have them like on the speakerphone and they can talk to you, and it'll be fun. But I want you to know how much I appreciate you coming on my channel. And I'm so glad that we're getting to know each other and become friends, because I really want you to succeed, and I love what you're doing on your channel. And so I have a lot of respect for you, girl. I don't have people on my channel unless I have a little bit of respect for them.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I hope I didn't make an ass of myself. I get so anxious and so like socially awkward, and I
You
swear to
did
God, I'm actually a
great.
very, oh really, I do. And I felt it through that the entire question. I'm like, oh my God, I'm acting like a moron. You know what? I don't know what it is. I just get like that, and I'm so sorry, but I love you
No,
guys and I
listen,
love you.
you did good. It takes getting used to, because
It
in your
does.
mind, you're going, oh my God, I'm on a live. Oh my God, all
Yes.
these people are watching me. You did great. I mean, honestly, like you did fine. I mean, it's not like you choked up or stopped talking or anything. I think you did good.
I did. Can I tell you something? I was on the Rachel Ray show a couple of months ago with my husband,
What?
and yeah, it was really cool. What I committed for a week to like be 100, like zero waste, like all like environmental, like we couldn't use Ziploc bags or anything like that. And they came into my house and they took all that stuff out and they replaced it with like all environmental stuff. And then when I got onto the show with Rachel, like I was so excited, and I met this amazing woman that I'm still friends with to this day, that like she's an environmentalist. So I got onto the Rachel Ray show, and I'm sitting next to Rachel, and she's asking me questions, and all I go is like this. I'm like I couldn't even answer the questions because I was like starstruck and freaking out because there was like an audience, like there was so many people in front of me. So I get tongue tied, but I just
It's really
appreciate.
scary. And okay, so let me share something. When I first got sober, when I would go into public, I'm talking like maybe going to the gas station to buy a Coke or a pack of cigarettes, and I would have to interact with people without having drugs in my system, without being high. Either I would totally like just be like not say anything, or I would talk so much that it was like I was telling people my life story. And that's kind of how I do. Like I talk so much that people are like, this girl is literally telling me that she's having her period and I don't even know her.
That's awesome. I
You
know
know,
what you mean.
so
I do that too. It's crazy.
at least you didn't get on the Rachel Ray show and totally like tell your life story or something, you know what I mean?
I could have done that. I was like
Yeah.
5 seconds from just saying everything in the world.
And that's like, she's famous, you know what I'm saying? So I would have probably been starstruck too.
No, you wouldn't have. You're very calm and cool and collected, and you're very good with talking to people and talking in general. Like I just don't like the words because I was a writer. I told you. So like
Hmm.
I write, like I'm a writer, like I have
Yeah.
to write it out and plan it out. Like I can't think on my head. I'm one of those people. Like, but
Well,
I had fun. I had a lot of fun with you, and I hope that everybody had fun tonight.
girl, you kicked ass. We got your channel linked in the comment section, and we had like 30 something people in there here, so you did good. That's like a good number for my live streams because I usually have like 20 people maybe. So we had quite a few people in here. You did really good.
That's
You did
awesome.
good. Don't
Thank you
ever
so
feel like
much, everybody. Thank
you
you.
you have an amazing speaking. I mean, you're fine. You did amazing. Like awesome. I'm so proud of you.
I'm not even using my regular voice. I'm about 3 octaves above. Like, I actually have a very deep voice for a woman, but I'm
Mhm.
all the way up here because I'm that nervous, Nicole. No, I'm not joking. I'm really not
I
joking.
know.
It's that
Look at
serious.
me, girl. I am just like you. It's not like we're the same person. You know,
That
like
is
there's no.
hilarious.
You'll get used to it because we're gonna have you on again, and so you're gonna have to get used to being on camera. No big deal.
Okay.
I'm gonna make
Okay,
you get used
Nicole.
to it. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
All right, girl. I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna link this. I'm gonna link your channel, and I'm gonna upload this video now. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye, Nicole.
Bye, baby. Okay, you guys. That was Katherine. Didn't she do a good job? You guys, please make sure you go over to her channel and let her know she did an amazing job. Like no, I've been doing this for over a year talking on camera, so it's like I could freaking pull words out of my ass. But Katherine did an amazing job, you guys. It takes a lot of courage to share stuff about your active addiction online, especially to a whole bunch of people that you don't even know. So please, please, please go over there and show her some love. Her channel is going to be linked in the comment section and in the description. And thank you so much for everybody that came out and showed her some love. And I love you guys so much. I'm going to go wash my face and take off this makeup. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Seriously, your support does not go unnoticed.